Hi, it's Wendy Atherton with Winston Dane. Thanks for taking a minute to check out these 5 fatal mistakes that we see buyers make when they are purchasing a home and some ways that you can avoid them. So, one of the first things that buyers need to watch out for, unfortunately, are scams. And I'll put non-disclosure in that bucket too. So, sellers in North Carolina are not obligated to disclose things about their properties other than things like if they've severed their mineral oil or gas rights, but they don't have to tell you if they have a mold and crawl space. So what does that mean for you as a buyer? Well, it means a lot of buyers get real nervous because they have to put up a big due diligence before they've even inspected the property. And if they don't like the property or there's something bad about it, they find out bad news, seller can say no, they don't have to fix it, and you walk away from your due diligence. And that is not good. So what can you do about it? Number one, when you're looking at a property, I know it's exciting because you're looking at the house and you love the house and you're thinking about where your furniture is going to go, but you have to really be diligent about looking at that property from a different eye, the eye of an inspector. And we have a whole checklist that breaks down what you should be looking at, but we want to know if we see any obvious signs of water staining. Right? Do we see wood rot when we walk in the front of the house? Is there a big crack in the driveway? Does it look like the gutters are full, not been taken care of? Is there obvious leaks under the sinks? Pull up the area rugs. Are they trying to hide some messed up flooring that you're not going to know until the day you close? And then it's, uh-oh, now what do we do? So these are things that you want to be really mindful of at that point in time. We can look at things like age based on scanning, and taking, like, for example, the water heater. We can look up and see how old the water heater is. So those are some things that are really helpful to do. And then, on top of those items, right? So we can also structure your due diligence. So for example, we've written deals where we have made an offer with an amount of due diligence, and then after inspection, we have increased the due diligence. And that helps protect you from putting all of your money out right out of the chute. Now, look, when the market was really, really hot, a lot of that wouldn't fly. But the market has shifted. So houses that have been on the market a little bit longer, there's some strategies that we can really take to help mitigate that. Number two, wire fraud. Wire fraud is a big deal in North Carolina, and it can cost you hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, depending on how much money you are wiring. So when you go to wire your money, the law firm is going to send you typically an encrypted message with those instructions. You should independently go Google them, verify the phone number, call that number, make sure it is the law firm, and then verify that the instructions that you were sent are correct. Okay. Very, very, very important. Your real estate agent should not be sending you wiring instructions. We will never, ever send wiring instructions, or will we ask you for any wiring instructions. So I cannot emphasize how important it is to be extraordinarily careful at that point in time. Third, other agents. So unfortunately, despite being held to the North Carolina Real Estate Commission laws and rules and to the Realtor Board of Ethics, not all agents always are good apples, and some will cut corners or, maybe pressure you into making a decision that probably isn't the best decision. So that's where it comes in to be important to really verify and validate who you're selecting to represent you as your buyer's agent in the transaction, even though generally you're not coming out of pocket directly to pay your agent. It matters because this is the person that is advising you in a really significant real estate transaction. So make sure you pick a good one. Okay. Next, vendors. Look, you're going to use a lot of vendors in the transaction. You're going to have inspectors and real estate attorneys and appraisers and surveyors and all kinds of people. And if you can get recommendations for who you're using, that is preferable. Now, look, your agent, if you pick a great agent, they should be able to recommend some great vendors for you. If they can't, then look to your internal network to find people that are good plumbers and the like, because you want to make sure that they're giving you quality advice, because you're going to rely on this advice as part of your negotiation. And then finally, we move on to the next one. So second on the list is people buy a house way too fast. So sometimes they pick a house too quickly, they don't research the area well enough, and they have buyer's remorse. 72% of buyers in the last 2 years have buyer's remorse, and that is a big reason why. And it's a slippery thing, right? Because on one hand, you don't want to wait too long and get into like an analysis paralysis kind of a thing. But on the other hand, you don't want to be too hasty and buy somewhere that you're going to regret. So how do you avoid that? Well, number one, make sure that your agent is doing a really excellent buyer consultation with you, especially if you're moving from out of state, you don't know the area. That will help really narrow down where you should be looking. Trust me, it does help. And if you can look at any videos online, research those videos. I think it's great to come into town, spend a couple of days, shop at the shops, go to the grocery stores, eat out, talk to the bartenders, go to the neighborhoods that your agent has identified for you, roll your window down, talk to the neighbors, see what they have to say. These are all great ways to make sure that you're not making a bad decision. Next, don't just go with the realtor that you find on Zillow. Okay, so when you're looking at homes and you see a house that you like and you want to go take a look at it, I know I've done it before. I was an agent. I clicked it and a lovely agent showed up who had not sold a lot of homes and did not really know what they were doing. Nice person, but gave me pretty much no advice. I priced the home myself. And when we had an issue with an encroachment, I was kind of on my own to figure it out with the real estate attorney. So those people are essentially just buying your contact information. So check Google reviews and make sure that you're picking somebody who does a good job for you. So that would be number 3. Next, not having your financing in order or picking the wrong lender partner is another one. So I see this happen. Unfortunately, like with bigger banks, sometimes this will be a situation where, if you pick a big bank and they're busy and you're just a number in the queue and they don't get around to you in time and you can't close on time and you're in breach of contract in North Carolina, the seller does not have to give you an extension past 7 days, and they will keep your due diligence and your earnest money. And that would not be pretty for you. So there is no financing contingency in North Carolina, right? So you gotta make sure you have that buttoned up really well. And there's all kinds of different programs out there, and some lenders are really good at some types of buyers and not others. So make sure that you are picking a really quality lender. My last tip is don't be skimpy on your inspections. So, a lot of people in this market we just came from, they kind of missed the boat a little bit because they would agree as part of their offer, to waive off on repair requests. And they would interpret that to mean like they're waiving inspection. You can still get an inspection. You don't necessarily have to ask for money. But getting an inspection, is just a smart thing to do, right? I mean, what if you found something that was really, really, really bad news? It would stink to lose your due diligence money, but it might be preferable to continuing into a transaction. So I recommend inspections, and you might want to make sure if you have a well, get the well inspected. If you have a septic, get the septic inspected. So your agent should be able to help you identify what inspections you choose to get. Those are my 5 fatal tips, fatal mistakes, and some things that you can do to avoid those things. So I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope it gave you some information that you didn't know before. If you're buying a home now or never, it doesn't matter to me. If you would like to talk to us more about your specific situation, you can book a free, no hassle, no salesy consultation by clicking the link, and we would be glad to talk to you. And until then, I hope you have a fabulous day.